Well, we'll share the screen and go through it. You have more stories than I will have, probably. And if you have none, that's fine too. If it doesn't go
Well,
anywhere,
I
that's okay.
actually don't have that many. I think I
Mhm.
have thoughts more than stories.
Hello,
It's
William Jockusch
saying
is here.
William,
Yeah.
oh, maybe, oh, William Jockusch.substack.com wants to do picture in picture. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Oh,
Allow?
I don't know. I'm actually, I was gonna share my screen and go to oh my
Oh,
god.
okay. Yeah, let's share your screen. I don't know why. Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, I think that's the same. Well, oh, no, it's not the same spoiler I was looking at, but it's the same cards.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know that I wanna show all of my, tabs, but I don't think it matters either. Yeah, so one thing that I realize is that I'm like, 48 now, and reading the cards is a lot harder. The white on white, it's
Yeah.
insane. You're like, "Good change, guys." We did that, but good change. Um, you have a 4/9 creature in here. What was your role on the set?
So I did the initial design. I did
Mhm.
not do like the avatars. I don't think I did the avatars. I
Okay.
think those were added after.
Mhm.
I did the initial design basically, and relatively little after that.
Okay. I think this card was played at some point, or a fracture. These winds were cool, actually. I don't know if you made them. The Plague Wind card was like they were incredibly cool and limited.
Uh-huh.
Um, that has a lot of words on it. I'm not reading that. That was fun to say. I remember Diving Griffin. It was good and limited. Jeweled Spirit. Oh yeah, that was kind of neat. Protection from artifacts or the color of your choice. These were like good limited cards. Glittering. Did you remember this mechanic?
I remember that I did a huge amount of tax mechanics, and I was kind of looking at it afterwards. I think they're a valid mechanic. I think it was good to have, but I think it was overdone in the set. There's too much of it.
I do remember these cards pretty well. Like Vegeta was a great limited card. This was a really cool limited set. Like Mirror Strike is totally good. Um, I want a qualifier with this set. I'm probably more partial than others. It just doesn't have collectability. It played well. So white has, a lot of those taxing cards you're talking about. Red is the one that I remember being, oh yeah, Troubled Healer. This guy was really good. That was a really good limited card.
Yeah, clearly in limited,
Oh yeah.
because you get to a point where you have more lands than you need, and so something like that is just could almost early on it's going to be terrible, but later on it could almost dominate the game in a way.
I actually like this set. Looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like there are a lot of things I like in it. It probably played really well in its environment. It's one of those sets that plays well, but it doesn't have the collectability. So the boxes end up being less valuable, even though the cards in it are like they're good in their context. So it's one of those situations where you want the rares to be more constructed, powerful, and more chase. Right? It's a set with neat designs that has bad chase mechanics built into it from a
So
collection
you
perspective.
skipped over Abolish, the very first card.
Oh yeah, let's
I'm
do it.
actually here. So I would have thought that that would have seen some constructed
You might
use,
have. You
but
might have.
I couldn't. I had a. I couldn't find it in deck lists, so it's kind of hard because if a card has a weird name and you Google it, then you're just going to get that. But if you just have abolish MTG, then you people wanting to get rid of magic or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell. So it's kind of, I mean, it's sort of related to force of will in a way.
Yeah. That would be it. Yeah, yeah, it is related to it. I've never seen that played other than in limited.
Okay.
But but yeah, I think this Alexi was very popular in limited. It was really powerful. Alexi's cloak was good. This is just really expensive. But it was also popular in its day. The Hornclaw, sacrifice a land, it gains flying. There's a lot of like interesting. Foil? Foil was a card people played.
So foil, yeah. So that one, right. So again, it's a relative of force of will, and we're sort of trying to narrow down on the power level.
Yeah.
Force of will was way too good,
Hmm.
and it discard, I think, a blue card and pay a life.
Yeah.
So now you're discarding two cards, and one of them has to be an island. And given that force of will was way too good, it seems like a reasonable next try. And yes, I think it is playable. Probably not the strongest counterspell out there, but also just the mana cost is uh well, at the time I guess you still had counterspell, so it was 2 mana more. But nowadays with cancel, it's just 1 mana more.
Yeah, it would probably be pretty good right now, right? Relative. Hazy Homunculus. One of the best names in Magic the Gathering history. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of words on these. um, there a lot of
What
these
about
cards are good
mana
for
vapor?
limited. Mana Vapors. Lands target player controls don't untap until no, I don't think that was great. It might have been decent and limited in certain cases, but
Wow.
I don't
And that's
remember it.
surprising.
I don't remember that card being popular, but it's been a while.
I just look at it and I think it would be strong, but sometimes you're just wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't yeah, I see what you're going for, but yeah, I don't remember it being popular. Um Ristic Study has become really popular. We should read that. I think that one is like oddly popular. um Ristic was a big deal in this set, right? Or was it, is it the block or the
Right.
set?
Well, no, it was just the set.
Okay.
And again, I think it's a valid mechanic, but I think there was too much of it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad back then, but yeah, there's a lot. So whenever an opponent plays a spell, oh wait, what happened? I didn't do that. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays one. Um, yeah, that's become like a card that's like a meme. It might be really powerful in some format. I don't know. I can't tell if it's a
Well,
joke or
if
not
you
because no one played it
have
in my day.
some like multiplayer free for all type format, it has to be good
There you
because
go. Yeah,
nobody's going to want to pay. In
that is
two
something.
player, maybe less so.
That is a neat aspect to Magic is that all these different formats to all these different means have like changed the value of every card in a good way so that more things are useful. Oh yeah, this kind of spike tail thing.
So
Oh,
Spiketail Hatchling, I
that was good.
think, was an unqualified success. It made it into core editions, and then since then it's been replaced by stronger creatures, but all creatures have gotten stronger. So,
Yeah, creatures here are the real like miss. Like there are a lot of cool mechanics and spells, but the creatures end up being too weak.
well, I don't
Um
think that one was though. I think for
oh
its
yeah, yeah.
time, it made it into constructed. It got into core sets. But yeah, I agree in general. The set needed more creatures like, oh, I swing for 3 or whatever.
Man,
Um,
withdrawal is a real kick in the teeth. That was a really good card in limited.
return target card to owners. Oh, so it's like an undo,
Instant.
maybe. It's some. Oh, undo was a sorcery.
Yeah. Withdrawal was really good.
Your development is hereby interrupted. Yes.
As someone who likes a lot of spells, this is quite a wonderful set because the creatures aren't aren't the focus. I can, you can tell that like a trickier player is going to be happier with this set than someone who's Timmy.
Which is, I think, one thing I think when I'm in retrospect, I kind of wish I had thought more about Timmy when making the set.
Yeah, I think that's where it misses, right? It's really actually fun from like the Spike and Johnny-ish side, but it's not as Timmy friendly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and you're kind of going through the black stuff. A lot of like fine limited cards.
What the
Uh,
spoil? What is that? Can you
the
scroll up?
spoil was like destroy a land.
It's 4 mana, so it's more expensive than Stone Rain, and which Stone Rain was never even that good in limited anyway, and taking away 2 life isn't that much. Yeah,
Yeah,
needs a little
it
more.
didn't connect. Yeah, if these guys are cheaper and bigger, you end up in a world where those might get played some. None of these cards ended up being pertinent other
And,
than
part
limited.
of it was this was coming on the heels of Urza's Saga,
Yep.
so it's like, "Okay, let's don't make that mistake again." Success.
I mean, you see it politically, right? Where you have a big war or whatnot, and then everyone's on good behavior for 70 years until those people are no longer with us. And then boom, the world breaks again. And then we'll become sheepish and go through the cycle. And that does seem to be our cycle. Um, yeah, Ristic Tutor was interesting for a while, but most of those black cards didn't make it in constructed. Um, a lot of neat designs. You had a design in here that was like you would fight over whether the creature would get bigger or not. Is that this set? Like they're red cards. I don't see them.
We'll just have to look at them.
Hmm. Ristic Lightning. A lot of really good lemon. Like it's funny. The game would play really well in these windows, but it wasn't as marketable. And it's definitely a trade off to make a game that plays great that doesn't sell as much. No, I don't see the cards that I expected to see here. I think they're in a different set. But again, nothing offensive, just nothing juiced.
That's right.
Uh, and so you designed it, so it's not your fault.
Well,
Exonerated. This was a good. I mean, these are really good limited cards, which I don't mind. It played well. Huh. Yeah, none of those green cards were playable and constructed. It just feels like whoever was balancing it didn't was too afraid, probably. How do I get back? Oh, stop sharing. That's an interesting set. Yeah, I mean, there really are not collectible or constructive cards in there, but they're cards I remember fondly as a player. So it's when I talked to Brian Hacker, he was like, I would make a set that had 0.01% of the power of today, but like it would not literally, but like he just wanted it to be the most interesting skill game as possible. And this is closer to that. Um, yeah. Huh. That was prophecy. Do you remember that?
yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, but yeah.
The design seems pretty good. Like there's nothing wrong design wise. It's the development. I think I would put on that one. Okay. Yeah, you mentioned 6th edition rules. I wasn't around for that, but
So that, I think, is probably my proudest when I look back at my time at Wizards, that is my proudest success, because before that, the rules were hard to understand, and, like, the final rule was ask Tom Wiley what should happen,
yeah.
and that's not the way it should be. Are we echoing?
It might is it my side? I don't hear you echoing. Is it me echoing?
I hear me echoing.
Oh,
There, it's fixed.
okay.
Uh, but after that, the oh, now it echoed again.
Hmm. Talk?
Hello,
Oh, weird.
less.
Hmm.
So after that, we put, with the introduction of the stack, I think I originated the concept. It's possible that I'm wrong about that. I think I did, though, and I definitely pushed for it, and it just sort of sailed right through. First of all, I mean, R&D is this unbelievably cantankerous bunch. Nothing sails through, but that did.
Yeah.
And before that, timing rules were just I never understood them. I spent a long time before that just studying various Tom Wiley stuff. How does he do it? Okay, how can we make this better? and I had done some computer programming, so I knew about stacks, and it just seemed to make sense. It sailed right through, and I think it made the game much more comprehensible for the audience.
Yeah, I think the game is forever better after that point, even though, some of us have nostalgia for the weird human systems, having something that we could all understand together. A pretty huge innovation. That was definitely like a sea change moment.
And then there's the removal of interrupts. I don't think I originated that one. I think Scaff had
Hmm.
mentioned it to me at least once before, but again, I definitely did push it for it, and that I'd sort of put that as a package in a package with removing the stack or with adding the stack. Look, you can have all these fast spell types, last in, first out, and let people play stuff after something resolves, and it just all works.
Hmm.
And there's one less card type that you don't really need.
Hmm.
And then there was damage on the stack, which was probably not such a great idea. It was sort of that I think of like, well, we have this great new concept, the stack, so let's use it. And that's one case where maybe we didn't need to, but that was, I think, minor relative to having the stack at all.
I think it helped. I think it made it a lot clearer how things would resolve. You had a lot less confrontation after that point, and a lot less trickery, right? There were people playing around within the rules.
Confrontation? What you mean, like rules confrontation?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah. There were all kinds of weird, like, it was, the early days of Magic are similar to like sneak oil time, where people would, do funny things within the construct of the rules and find weird advantages that like don't make any sense to have in a game that's, not trying to be extremely cutthroat. So,
Mhm.
sixth edition rules went the distance really to like prevent those weird shenanigans. And you see people who were like unethical players starting to uh, see real trouble at that point. Like they couldn't win as much after that point because they couldn't pull their weird tricks.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it had gone that far.
No, it was weird. There was a guy who would like say, "Can I go?" And if you said yes, then like you were indicating that you had decided not to take your move. And or, like it was some kind of weird situation where that level of like maneuvering was something that people thought about to try to trick the other person into saying the wrong thing so that they would have an advantage in the game.
Wow.
That's how cutthroat it got on the tournament side.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was mean. And, it's like, but again, it's like, it's ruthless, I guess is what I would call it. It's like kind of absurd when you're talking about a kid's card game. um, but yeah, like people were that aggressive about winning and understanding the rules to set them towards their advantage. So sixth edition cleaned up a lot. It did a lot more than I think people realize to make the game safe for everyone. You're a lawman now, William Jockusch.
Apparently. And then Bill Rose put in the changes to damage prevention,
Yeah,
like these little shields. Although I don't remember that being a huge pain point beforehand.
it was so confusing,
Was it?
actually. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, yeah, there were all kinds of really weird things that happened in the early days. I'm not sure I'm the best to remember the specific details, but like if we talk to Randy or Mike Flores probably remembers these really bizarre maneuverings people would do with the rules beforehand. I remember the time-based ones better than the damage-based ones, but for sure, um, whatever whatever the rules allowed, people took advantage of. You kind of saw it in Tom Wiley's behavior. Like he would, at the beginning, he was just a normal kind of happy-go-lucky person, and by the end, he's pulling his hair out because all these like ridiculous people keep trying to do these absurd things, and the closer you get to humanity, the less you like it,
Wow.
et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that's my memory of it. But no, it's not entirely true. I saw Tom at a judge at an event later, and he was very happy, no longer being the person on the hook for everything.
Well, you didn't have to have a person on the hook for everything.
That's true.
You had a
Yeah, it's funny. I hadn't thought about Tom and bringing him on, but like he's like a vital figure from the early days of Magic, right? Uh, yeah, I don't know. Um, hmm,
And the other thing that 6th edition rules did was they made Magic Online possible.
that seems pretty important too, and Arena and whatever they do in the future, right? Yeah, it's a big deal. It's like putting out 3.5, right? For D&D. It's a rev that people can enjoy the game with for a longer window because of it. No, I mean that was really cool. I remember Randy coming in around that time, and he was like playing around in the space of writing it up with you guys, and he was really excited about it. Um, oh no, hold on. All right. Um, well, cool. Yeah, no, I think it's been interesting looking at this. Like Prophecy is a set I remember better than I thought. It's just not commercially viable. And then 6th edition rules were a pretty huge deal.
Oh, and
Yeah.
in Prophecy, one mechanic that I wanted to do quite a lot of, but wasn't allowed to, was uncounterable cards.
Oh yeah, that would have been popular for sure.
I still actually don't get why people were. I mean, the whole idea of Magic is if you have something that's really strong, which counter Magic was, then introduce counters to it, which uncounterable spells. And were a couple that got in. There was some forget it, but there was some red card that destroyed a lot of things that was uncounterable that got through.
Yeah,
But I I mean, I would have loved
versus Rage.
to. What?
Versus Rage, I remember
Well,
being one. Yeah.
I would have loved to do just like uncountable grizzly bears or whatever.
Yeah, why not? Um, that certainly would have been fair game. Yeah, there was a weirdness around don't make creatures good. You can just feel it in there. You're like, wait a minute. There's a reason none of us played creatures back then. Like they're just not playable. So the resistance to making creatures that, could be uncounterable, that sounds totally smart in that window of time. Yeah, that's a window where, things evolve. There were good aspects to having spells be good too. I think you learn different. It might be easier to make the game feel different and varied from window to window. Whereas when it's just creatures fighting, you're like, all right, when I play, it definitely feels like, all right, uh, you have not that many turns to play the game, and the creatures kind of dominate. Versus spells, you can have a lot more flexibility in the unique types of things you enable.
Hmm.
Um, they're trade offs. But selling a lot of the game is better than not selling a lot of the game. I mean, that's just kind of how
Yeah.
capitalism works. All right. Well, I appreciate you doing this. This is the first, and who knows if it will be the only bonus content thing, but for the fellow who wanted to know more about prophecy,
Now he has it.
now he has it. Have you heard any response to your stuff on Ukraine or Russia at all?
No,
Not yet.
I get remark. So I really had a hard time. I've attempted to calm down. I mean, I sort of try to calm down severe partisans.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, because I'm a Republican, I have some success with severely partisan Republicans and just zero with severely partisan Democrats.
I can't even imagine. It sounds really challenging to do. I mean, on the Republican side, like, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to see. Like, social media has made it so that people can feel strongly in any direction without repercussion. And it turns out there are a lot of people who want to do that. They just want to feel a certain way as strongly as possible and feel good about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it's
it's like,
damaging. It's harmful. It really hurts the country.
yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that's been a major issue. Um, the lack of accountability systems is a major issue, but you don't want to have the accountability system put in by someone who's like lying, cheating, and stealing. So, yeah, I mean, you end up in a, you wish humans could get past these things.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the robots now, William. Every day, I'm like, oh, I would vote for Claude over anyone on Earth. That's where I
Oh,
want
I
to
don't
be.
know about that. AIs, they've tested
Backwards.
AIs out on simulated warfare scenarios, and they tend to go nuclear.
Yeah,
So
you know that does feel
that may not be such a good idea.
well. That's true. Um, yeah, who knows? Humans may do the same. So, if there's a party that's like, I'm just never going to play by the rules, you're going to end up in nuclear warfare, and that's what we have on numerous fronts. So it's actually, I think, I wonder if it'll maintain that way. Uh, yeah, it would be sad if we saw nuclear warfare in our lifetimes,
Well,
but it's
obvious.
coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does feel like it's coming for no reason, really. It's just stubbornness. It's just stubbornness. That's it. Like a lack of desire to compromise on anything.
There's a lot of that. Well, it's kind of built in to our Constitution, unfortunately. Winner take all.
Yeah, yeah, that seems. It feels very Game of Thronesy, um, which is maybe the best humans get without a little assistance from their friends.
What do you mean assistance from their friends?
Some sort of intelligence that we create
Oh, I
that
see.
that helps us like navigate these issues to be less unkind to people.
Well, and on top of that, the Russians they really are constantly amplifying
Well, they're the dog, right?
their
They have no
stupidity.
power otherwise.
What?
Like Russia feels like they have like limited power in the global sphere, or did like 15 years ago before they've been starting to stockpile again. So they're playing from a position where they don't have like great economy after like things split, right? They're in this position where they don't have a lot of land. They've given up a lot of what made the Soviet Union powerful before. They're playing from like the loser's seat, so they should take as much risk as possible is what it seems like to me, and they just keep doing it because no one's checking them.
Well, that's thing number one. But then thing number two is that at least since World War One and probably longer. Well, no, at least since the Russian Revolution and probably longer than that, in fact, definitely longer than that, they've thrived on dividing other
Yeah.
societies. So, like, you had the Chinese Civil War, Mao against Chiang Kai-shek, and you might think, well, the communist Russians wanted the communist Mao to win. No, they just wanted the Civil War to continue.
Mhm.
And they're doing the same
Yeah,
thing
that's
in the
common. Yeah, I've been reading a lot about Genghis Khan's window, and like they are often thinking about these power dynamics and keeping people in. Well, on the Genghis Khan side, he needs to continue to supply his country with goods, so he needs to keep pillaging and going to war. Otherwise, the economy won't sustain for the people who have become accustomed to being spoiled
Mhm.
brats. But there's also this undertone of like you want to keep people at war so that you don't have to go to war with them right now, and they're like
Mhm.
preoccupied, and so none of this is new, but it is like effective, right? Especially
And
in
especially in the cyber age, because
yeah,
instead of being Russia encouraging you to go to war, it can be like this account that calls itself Texas Patriot, and it's encouraging Republicans to hate Democrats. And then you can have an account called Blacktivist that's encouraging Democrats to hate Republicans. And people believe that both of them are who they appear to be.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. I think, are there any, like, books or resources you think everyone should read or see?
uh, there's well, resources. So there's actually a terrific video about this in by the New York Times. I link it in my Substack
Mhm.
uh, piece on dealing with Russia, or just that piece in general, I guess. I'm Yeah, I kind of tried a new tack to persuasion there. I'm not sure if this tack worked either. Rather than pointing to specific examples of how I felt Americans were being too nasty to each other, I pointed to specific examples of Russia encouraging Americans to be nasty to each other. And one of them was a New York Times video, which I thought was terrific, and it's linked from there.
Yeah,
And
it's
there's some articles too, like there's a article from something called the Texas Tribune, which I'd never heard of, but this particular article just really hit it on the head.
huh. Yeah, I mean, from Russia's position, they should be doing these things if it's a capitalist society that's trying to be winner take all or a capitalist world, right? Um, the rules aren't set up so that they would be disincentivized from doing this.
That's right.
So it's made sense to me, even though I don't like it, because that's the way the game is rigged, and the rules of the game dictate uh, behavior entirely, much like the sixth edition rules helped clean things up. Have you thought about much what you would do at like a grand scale to like set rules to sixth edition rules,
You mean in
humanity
the
at this point?
US political system?
Yeah.
I actually think that getting rid of gerrymandering would be a positive step.
Hmm.
Possibly a bigger positive step would be have for the House of Representatives have proportional representation.
Hmm.
Because why is there no center party? Because it can't win. Well, if you have proportional representation and there's a center party that can win 20% of the seats, then they could end up holding the balance of power in the House of Representatives, and then you wouldn't have these insanely wild swings back
Yeah.
and forth.
Yeah, those can't. They feel like the Tacoma Narrows Bridge in the earthquake going up and down 8 feet or whatnot. You're like, this can't be good for. Why would you build a bridge this way?
Well, the framers didn't realize they were building it this way, and what they built was clearly better than what had come before.
Hmm.
And furthermore, they did build in an amendment mechanism, but to get that amendment mechanism to really happen, I think you would need a really big catastrophe, like bigger than one that we've seen. And so it hasn't.
Why don't the people that are the senators, the representatives, like why don't they see these things? Why aren't they? Why are they kind of
Maybe they do, but what's
yeah?
their incentive structure is to get reelected.
Hmm.
And that means so I'm gonna pick a Democrat, but it would be totally the same mirrored for a Republican. So if you're a Democrat, you wanna get reelected, you have to do 2 things. You have to win the primary, and you have to win the general.
Hmm.
And to win the primary, you have to be quite anti-Republican because the primary is only gonna have Democratic voters, and if you're some centrist who says, "Well, sometimes the Republicans have good ideas," that just isn't gonna play well.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna have the more a pressure to be more radical of a Democrat. And the same thing in reverse happens to a Republican. They're gonna be more radical, and so that the rules of the game drive out the center.
Hmm. Yeah, that seems exactly wrong. You don't want to have a system that removes the grown-ups from the conversation. Yeah, I mean, I think that ends up being a really interesting topic of the time. Um, the rules of the game to me is a really clear framing of, I guess, what Ezra Klein is trying to do. The left hates him for it, and the right, wasn't going to care for him in the first place. So, but he's trying to play
Sorry,
that
wasn't
moderate
gonna
guy.
care for whom?
Ezra Klein. Um,
Oh, right, yeah. Okay, and
yeah,
what about him?
I see him as trying to like bridge some kind of centrist position where he's like, "Hey guys, we're not going to win if we're like crazy left radical," and I think that you get the good grogger out, the boo kind of thing whenever you do that. But is there anyone who can bridge us back together by talking about what the rules of engagement should actually be, as opposed to just emoting a lot?
Well, so that is the one corrective that we do have, is at the presidential level, when somebody is really radical, they actually don't tend to last.
Hmm.
But they can still win, and, so it can still be damaging. I mean, I see Trump as too radical for certain,
Yeah.
and he didn't last, and I think, by the way, that the Democrats are gonna win in 2028 because he's too radical. And
Hmm.
then I'm guessing you're a Democrat, by the way? Or
I'm
you don't
independent.
have to answer. What?
I'm independent. I've always been independent.
You're
I'm not.
independent? Okay, it's
Yeah.
fine. I'm guessing the Democrats are gonna win in 2028, and then it's gonna be up to them. So, like, Gavin Newsom has done some pretty radical things. He's also done some things right. Like, he was totally against trying to remove Trump from the ballot,
Mhm.
uh, which suggests some some level of commitment to fairness.
Mhm.
Mm, I didn't want him to win the Republican primaries, but obviously he should have been on the ballot. Yeah, that's just sort of natural. So maybe he'll be centrist enough that he can last for 8 years. Maybe he won't. I don't know.
Yeah. He is an interesting figure for sure. And he's pretty popular in California. The
Okay.
Republicans hate him, which is generally a good sign. No offense. Uh, yeah, I mean, I bias more liberal side for sure. But I do like see the benefits of certain Republican aspects of thinking about things. So it's nothing is a straight line in this sphere, whether you want it to be or not. You have to pay your bills, William. If you've ever managed a budget, you're like, wait a minute, you can't just be idealistic all the time.
Household budget for sure.
Oh,
Not
I
like
mean,
big word budget, but my own budget.
yeah, it's yeah, it's hard to understand how to make good things happen with the budget for sure. You have to
Mhm.
make hard decisions. You can't do everything, William. You
That's true.
can't.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, I appreciate you doing this. I
Okay. I
I will.
appreciate the opportunity to reach out to a different audience that's
Well, they're smart people that play Magic.
yeah, it's true.
Very smart people that are passionate about many things and are
Good.
generally want to make the world a better place types. I think people who go to Magic are generally kind of GPs. We'll call them good people. Not all, but most.
Okay, well, that's a
There's an
good thing.
there's an undertone. Yeah, I think so. Um, well, all right. I'm going to post this as bonus content, and people will listen to it. You may not realize this, but people are listening to your first video in like pretty decent volume. So,
Good. Okay.
yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, thanks for doing this, and you've given me some food for thought. So, let's see where that goes. Maybe that'll become something.
Okay, happy to do it again.
All right, thanks, man.
Okay, take care.
Great to see you.
Bye-bye.